Hi, my name is Greg Daniel. I'm a chaplain at Erlanger Hospital in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Thanks for joining us today as we observe National Donor Sabbath. National Donor Sabbath occurs 2 weekends before the Thanksgiving holiday. This is an interfaith celebration of life and Thanksgiving where congregations across the nation have the opportunity to recognize and reflect on the life-giving act of organ donation. We have 3 people on the call who have been touched by the experience of organ donation: Julianne Wolfe, Lisa Rousseau, and Kenneth Morgan. As a way of reflecting on the gift of life, I'm asking each one to take a few minutes to share how organ donation touched their lives and what it means to them. Julianne, let's begin with you, followed by Lisa, and then Kenneth.
Good morning. My name is Julianne Wolfe, and I currently live here in Cleveland, Tennessee. But many years ago, in 1997, our daughter, Carrie, who was 8 years old at the time, received a heart transplant at the University of Pittsburgh Hospital in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We were living in Ohio at that time and had 3 other children: a daughter 16, a daughter 11, and a son 3 years old. To be faced with the need for organ transplant, and particularly in a pediatric situation, is really one of the most life-devastating experiences a family can have. And yet we were rescued from that experience by a family whose own daughter died, and gave us the gift of life-saving heart transplant for our Carrie. So I know this is a weekend to celebrate Donor Sabbath, but I will tell you that there is not a day goes by that we do not honor and thank and pray for the family who at the most devastating time in their life, and I know Lisa will speak to this, was able to go beyond what they were feeling about their own family and think about somebody else whose need at the moment was a heart transplant. So that was in 1997. Our daughter had just 30 plus years of so much life. We celebrated annually on her anniversary with our church service and our faith community, remembering the family that was Carrie's donor family, but also just for so many people who have given donation of organs over the years. Very recently, we have a dear friend, an adult man who received a heart transplant literally a couple months ago. And I just know that he is so thankful, and that gift is from a family who went through the same thing that so many donor families go through, that they give beyond where they are right at the moment to think of someone in a very unselfish and loving way. So since that time, we have been absolute advocates for organ donation. We talk about it whenever we have the opportunity, but beyond everything else, the first and foremost thing is a heart full of thankfulness to God and thankfulness to the family who donated a heart for our Carrie. Now, our daughter passed away in 2016. She was actually in need of a second heart transplant, and that did not happen. But I will tell you that in her adult life, she asked if she can be an organ donor. So the blessing for us is that when she passed away in 2016, Carrie was also able to be a donor. So I really am very thankful to our loving Father for the gift that he blessed our family with, as well as the chance for Carrie to bless others. So with that, I'll let Lisa take over from here.
Thank you, Julianne. That was wonderful to hear. And I have met Carrie several years ago. Precious girl. My name is Lisa, and my daughter, Jessie, was 9 years old when she had a sudden death, and she had a brain aneurysm. So there was nothing left there for us to do, except we had this overwhelming feeling to give and to do organ donation. Actually, before the hospital even said anything, we asked. So I also want to know that, to say that Tennessee Donor Services was caring, loving, not pushy. A lot of people wonder about that. It was it was as good of an experience as you could have considering the situation. And they just wonderful people to deal with, and the helpfulness that they gave us and the caring that they gave us. Jessie was 9, like I said, and she had been healthy. So this was a shock, but she was also really giving. She would give away her school supplies at school. She kept her desk stocked with school supplies. I thought she was losing things because she'd keep asking me for more. Come to find out, we found out when she was in the hospital, her teachers came to visit, and we had still not had the final, say of what was going to happen. And they were talking about, hey, you got to come on back to school because who else is going to keep all these supplies stocked? I was like, what? So all these supplies I had been buying are actually, she was stocking her desk so nobody would do without. She would give away anything she had. When this came up and her sudden death, of course, it's the worst feeling in the world. But we also thought, she's always been giving. How can we not? It was like, it wasn't even a question. How can we not continue and help some other families? She helped 7 families, 7 people. And it has been, I tell you
amazing.
What, for me, it is a healing. It is a part of my healing that has helped so much to know that I couldn't control what happened, but I could control what I did and how I handled and what I could do with it. I tried to find something that was positive, something that was good, because she was so positive, she was so good. So what we did is we decided on organ donation right away, and it's helped me so much. I pray for those families on the anniversary date, the ones that received. The ones that are still here, I don't know. I don't know if everybody is still doing well. I just pray for them, and I pray that if it worked for them, that they are living their best life. I did get a couple of letters, and it just touched my heart. And I did meet one of her recipients, and it was wonderful. So I have to say that. The helping, just I relied on my faith, I relied on family, but to have that extra, I know that something came out of her death that continues to give and continues to give. And that's how she was. So I could not, I couldn't say no. This was something that we really felt, and it has really helped my healing. And I speak about it like Julianne. I speak about it any chance I get. So I really want to thank Tennessee Donor Services for being such a caring organization during all of this. That still touches my heart, even this many years later. And it's just a wonderful thing. I can't imagine anyone not choosing it. And we're going to send it on over to Kenneth.
Yes, I am Kenneth Morgan. I do family care for Tennessee Donor Services, and Tennessee is a generous state when it comes to helping others with the gift of donation. Listening to these individuals and their stories is incredible. I often say that, the people that work in family care, we could only do what we do. It's a very tough conversation, a very difficult conversation. But when we meet families that are going through the most difficult times in their life, whether it's a husband, a father, mom, a brother, sister, and we're sitting down with them and they've just gotten difficult news, tragic news about a loved one, and to see them think about other people, in their grief, in their, for most difficult time in their life. It's a beautiful thing to see people thinking beyond themselves when many times the weight of the world is upon them. So hearing your stories is incredible. Hearing the story of those that are giving the gift and those that are receiving the gift of life. I've had situations where I've sat down with, a wife and the two teen children to be there, and their father was just pronounced and declared, and the mother, the wife of the patient, be wrestling with the decision, to help others, and to see a family come together, to see those teens come alongside their mom and say, "Mom, we can do this. We need to do this. This is something that Dad would want." Is amazing. Once again, I couldn't do, I wouldn't do, and participate in the role that I'm in if it wasn't for families that are making those courageous decisions to help other people. That's the beauty. A couple of years ago, I was working on Christmas Day, and so that was kind of difficult. I was actually away from my family, up in another city, and there weren't many people out and about. And I happened to get on the elevator, and when I got on the elevator, there was a lady that was standing next to me. She was probably about 60 years old, and I looked at her and I said, "Merry Christmas." And I said, "What brings you out on this Christmas Day?" And she was talking about her husband was actually in the hotel, and he had been there for about 4 to 6 weeks, and he was a heart recipient. So that was just incredible, confirmation to me that, being out there on Christmas Day, one of the greatest gifts that I received was having a conversation with a wife of a recipient, a heart recipient, and to hear her story, to hear her journey, and to see her express her thanks for those that work to help others with this precious gift of life. And so that was very encouraging. So hearing your stories today, both on the side of giving and receiving, and to hear your grateful hearts is amazing. And so thank you for sharing those stories.
Thank you, Kenneth, Lisa, Julianne. Thank you for sharing with us today, but really more than that, thank you for sharing the most precious of all gifts, life.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the devastation that you were going through when your life was probably at its darkest, and you became the light in someone else's darkness, or your darkness was pierced by the light of life through the generosity and love of another. So God bless you. Bless you and all of those that you represent. And as we close our time together, I'd like to offer a prayer blessing together. May the divine grant blessing, peace, and comfort to those who give and receive the greatest of all gifts, a chance at new life. Amen.